Hi everyone, welcome back to WHU TV live on Periscope and YouTube. My name is John, your host as always, and I hope you're doing well as I always do. So let's have a look to see who's in the chat first and foremost. But before I do that, so I just want to say thank you very much to everybody that's been sticking around. This is the 26th episode now of live chat. The daily live chat with John, and thank you very much to everybody that's been doing it over those 3.5 weeks. It's pretty much 3.5 weeks now. So thank you very much, guys. It's been really, really appreciated. Vernon says, "Hello, mate. Hi, JB. Sorry, I haven't been around for a few days, but I've been busy working. Good morning. That's understandable, mate. You got to do what you got to do." Rick says, "Hi. Our starting 11 Patreon. Hello, mate. Hope you're doing all right. Sofian's back as well. I'm keeping good, and I hope you all are as well." So Mark is English as well. He's in the chat. Hello, guys. Good to see you. Now, just to recap on a few things. It was interesting to see. We talked about Southend Seafront the other day, and now the council have coming out to say, and I quote, they might take action after the recent sunbathers pretty much overtook the beach. But it's interesting to read that there's been 3 northwest France towns that have shut their beaches as of yesterday due to the unacceptable failure of social distancing. Now, I hate to say it, but I honestly have to say, if Southend Council go down exactly the same route, and all the other places as well, like Brighton Beach, Herne Bay, you name it, yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised. I really, really wouldn't be at all surprised. Ian's in the chat. Hello, Gazer. Hope you're doing all right. Okay, so now it's interesting reading that N'Golo Kante even is also not training with Chelsea now. Now, I know there's been any other reports of Chelsea players not having the virus, because the third club is still under wraps at the moment. But I honestly want to get your guys' opinion on this. Do you think it's a good idea or a bad idea that the third club hasn't been announced yet? Personally, I think it's quite a good idea that they keep it with the secrecy, because we're getting way too much information about a few things. There's a lot of people trying to mouth off about this, that, and the other, which is understandable. But at the same point, I honestly think we should have a little bit of not secrecy exactly, but less information about this, about who's doing what, because I know a lot of you guys are watching this, and some of you are massively addicted to social media and want to find out what everybody's doing all the time because you're nosy little gits. But for me, I don't really care if somebody's training or not. The only time we will find out if they are training or have been training or not is we should be finding out close to match day. I admire Troy Deeney, as I've mentioned before, saying what he's been saying, and I admire the other players at Watford that have said they're not coming in as well to train. I admire that. I've got a funny feeling. I've got a very, very funny feeling that Creswell might be kicking up a bit more of a fuss the closer it gets to the match day, but whenever that's going to be, but we'll find out. Richie's in. Buenos tardes, geezers. Sofian says, the people who packed out the beaches this week disgust me, to be honest. Yeah. Talking about N'Golo Kante saying that he was training, wasn't he? I saw a photo of him. The BBC reported he said he wasn't going to train. Vernon says, agree, it's business, and the players and employees' personal lives, that should be private. Yeah. Gary, hello, mate. Good to see you. Gary says, evening, I want to know we need transparency at this important time. I want to know we need, That's a good point. Peter Jones, hello guys, hope you're doing all right. Vernon says, but it should be public if it is a general health risk. But it's not a general health risk. Players training with each other, it's not a general health risk. I know what you mean, but it's not from that side of things. Bex is in. Hello, good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. I actually think having all the information will help. This is a national pandemic. It is a different situation all round. This is a public thing. I think transparency is best. It's a good point, but I still maintain we're getting way too much information than we should do. Darren Higgins says, "Good morning, mate." He said, "Social media, smoke signals, and pigeon posts for me." Sophian says, "Why will Creswell kick off us? Because he doesn't want to train in the same way that Troy Deeney doesn't want to train. He's gone on record many times, and I say I don't blame him, but it is kicking. He will be kicking up a fuss. He's mentioned it beforehand. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing." Ryan, hello mate. He said, "I keep hearing rumours about Moyes' future." Yes, Ryan, it's the same bloody story going around day after day after day after day. Different newspapers. It'll be going around again next week. It'd be going around continuously because nobody's got anything else to talk about. You know, we did talk about this beforehand, but it's all been shot straight down. The fact that the club have come out and say Moyes is going to be our manager no matter what league we're in next season. So, yeah. And Bex makes a good point. There's a young baby, Sophie, and has spoken out before we was the first. He was the first who spoke out. Agreed. There was Creswell said it, and I think, and obviously Noble's been very vocal about it since. But Creswell was, Bex, you're absolutely right. He was one of the first ones straight away. So I can't blame him too fair if he doesn't want to train. Footballers aren't key workers. Agreed. Vernon says agreed. Two posts with two sides of the same coin. I think I'm guessing it would potentially be a risk for the local community with cleaners etc. going in and out of the facilities. Yeah, but they're being deep cleaned every single day from what I'm reading. So yeah, agreed. It's as I say. For me personally, I think we live in a world where we get given way too much information a lot of the time about the wrong thing. Now I'm not saying this isn't the wrong thing, but. Gary says, "I don't understand why they haven't put them up in hotels like they would if they were playing for England anyway to keep them safe." Yeah, but you can't keep your people away from the families for that length of time. I know what you mean, Gary, but like I said, this is a no-win situation, unfortunately. It really is. It really is. It really is tricky to try and please everybody because you're not going to be able to do it no matter what happens, especially when it comes to Twitter. I was talking to my Hammers mates in the group chat we've got, and there's a lot of talk about the renewals. I mean, I personally still haven't got my email from the club yet, so I'm on their backs asking what the hell's going on. But people are kicking up on apparently on Twitter saying blah blah blah, and I said, well, I said to my mates, well, have you actually read the official statement, or are you just hearing what people who've got agenda against the club on Twitter are saying? Because we talked about this last night. You know, we've had a really good show of strength from West Ham on this. Except I was going to come on to this a little bit later on, but it's what I read. I reread the statement that I read out last night. I read it after again. I read it through a little bit more in finer detail. We're in financial trouble, ladies and gentlemen. There's no two qualms about it. There really isn't. We are in financial trouble because otherwise they wouldn't be asking for people to. They didn't outright ask, but they pretty much hinted that that if we are going to be getting a refund, not to ask for it, because to help support the club through these testing times. The club is in a bad shape. I'm sorry, guys, but this I'm calling it now. I'm calling it now. They really will. We will see some really bad stuff. I know Man United Post said issued up something a little while ago to say that earlier today I should say that it was like an £28 million effect on the club and stuff. But it's just we're going to see a lot of problems coming. Beck says, I'm guessing they are having to isolate cleaners and other staff during training. They're keeping them in hotels once the matches start. Sophie says, yeah, same for me and my dad, John. We haven't got an email. Sophie says, for example, Man United have a football hotel building, don't they? Yeah, that's what I heard. But I don't pay too much attention to stuff unless it's from a decent, reliable source. And Gary says, I've had my email, going to use it for next season whenever that happens. Ian saying, I can't believe people are still upset with the renewal statement. Like I said, mate, you can't please everybody. You can't please everybody. But as I say, it's a really, really big hint that there's a really, really big hint that something's coming. I would say that really does it. I think that's what people are getting annoyed at. But hello, Wally. Good to see you, squad player. Darren says it's conflicting information most of the time, depends on who we choose to believe. Exactly, which is why I don't listen. This is why I don't go on social media hardly ever. If I do, it's only certain people that I talk to. Sophie Ann says, mate, didn't I tell you we needed money from shirt sales next season? Well, you said that do they need it? And I said they don't need it, they want it. And now it's slightly different. Beck says, okay, here's my 2p from the season ticket statement. Honestly, it's good. Like at the end of it, they're a business. No business wants to give refunds. They're going to try and keep the money in the club. Yeah, it is. You're absolutely right there, Bex. Wouldn't have been as annoyed about it, if I'm honest with you, if they didn't help the club through these troubling times. I would have preferred it to say we're going to try and help you through these troubling times because we know certain people aren't able to work at the moment, etc., etc. I know they went on to do the stuff about the NHS, but again, it was like we need your money, not like we're here to support you, but please help us. At the same point, do you know what I mean? It really did my head in. Bex says the club have done the right thing. Only thing I can criticise is the time they took to announce it. Agreed. Sophie agrees with normally what I say. All credit to the board when it's due. You shouldn't have an agenda against them, in my opinion. Well, a lot of people do. That's the whole point. A lot of people just putting aggravating tweets up and Facebook posts because they get followers and they get likes and they get conversations, they get arguments out of it. That's what they do. That's what the agenda is. Self-flagellation, shall we say? And Ian says every option is available to people. So what's to be upset about? Get a refund, don't get a refund, get credit or club cash. Yeah. Great. I mean, if we do Mark says, get your money out, guys. The billionaire is running a bit short. If we do have a season next season, now there's two ways you can look at this. All right. So going back to what we were talking about earlier, there's two ways you can look at this. Okay. The end of the season is going to be the end of the season. Next season is going to be next season. How is it going to happen is nearer the point. Are we going to be able to get a season ticket in terms of being able to watch the game? Watch the games properly, or are we going to be sitting around scratching our heads trying to find what to do? You know, that's the thing. That's the real question. Our Nordic friends back in. Hello, mate. Nice top. That was my first one when I was many years younger. Thanks, mate. Yeah, I haven't worn it for a while, and actually, I haven't worn a West Ham shirt on any of these live streams for quite a while actually. So I thought, what better one to do my second favourite. Bex says the thing is, if you're not happy, you can get a refund. So I don't quite understand why people are still complaining. Yeah, Gold, Sutherland, and Brady could have quite easily said club cash only. Agreed. Yeah. But that's what they're talking about as a credit. As I say, it's a little bit ambiguous. But I said last night when we were talking about it, I think they've done the right thing. They haven't worded things right, but they've done the right thing. And Ian agrees with you, Beggy. Bernard says some people want refunds. They then will complain there is no money to buy new players. You can't have it both. Can't have it both ways. Yeah, agreed. 100%, mate. Completely agreed on that. Completely agreed. Gary Page, I've got to say the club has been really good up until now. Hope it continues. And they've still been good, Gary. It's just to say there's a few ways they've worded things that could have been done better. But yeah, I'm absolutely happy with how they've how they're going. Said Gary says we could be back by October if no new cases keeps going in London. It's a little bit more complicated than that, mate, if I'm honest. You're right, but that's because a lot of the people aren't going back into work on a regular basis. I know it looks like it from the photographs, but trust me, we're not. We're not going back to work on a regular basis. Once we get into phase 2, then we'll see what happens with the cases from that. Volplex, honestly, man, learn how to type. Hope you're all right. How you doing? I'm very well, pal. I hope you're keeping all right as well. Beck says, let's be honest, we know that for the majority of the season, fans won't be in the stadium. Yeah, for next season, fans won't be in the stadium. Majority, if anything, if at all, the way things are looking at the minute. The clubs seem like they are willing to satisfy any request. They must have received a few strongly worded letters and probably on phone calls and emails. And yeah, I guarantee Karen Brady's had a few tweets. Sophian says, I'm proud of my club, which I haven't said many times over the last few years, mate. Yeah, my uncle, you guys will love it. You'll love this. But my uncle said, like, being a West Ham supporter was like being a father of an ugly child. You're proud of them, but you don't want to be seen with them in public. That's exactly how we feel. Exactly how we feel. Beck says, sorry, I've got a migraine. Laughing on it, but I hope you feel better soon, hun. Rishi says, if the club is low on money, maybe the owners could give back the interest on the loan. Yep, that's not a bad shout, mate. That's not a bad shout at all. Right, okay, so we're going back to football-related subjects now properly for a second. All EFL clubs, English Football League clubs, will still be promoted and relegated from all 3 divisions if the season is ended. 51% of all 3 league clubs need to agree for the campaign in each division to be curtailed. So basically, I reckon this is going to suspend League One, because we all know that they're currently still in discussions about what they're doing with it. But I reckon this is going to tip it. I reckon that being on the table for saying just over half of all 3 league clubs need to be in it. Yeah. I reckon League One's suspended. There's still gonna be playoffs. It'd be interesting to see how they're going to get around doing that. But yeah, I think it's a good idea. And I hope that the Championship and the Premier League follow the same sort of suit. Because I say you have to, like as we talked about last night, you have to have consistency across the board. You really, really do have to have consistency across the board. I was about to say, does anybody have any questions? Because remember, guys, this is an open Q&A, as it's been saying every single day for 26 days. Should Sky and the like broadcast games for free? They should, Ian. Will they is another matter. A completely different matter. Because at the end of the day, guys, they want to earn their money in terms of it. So, because they've obviously had to pay the Premier League for it, and they should be doing it for free. Like for example, what was it? The Sky do it every now and again where they do what was it? Where they do it's like for example the last few hours or the last day of the transfer window closing. That's sometimes, not all the time, but that's sometimes broadcast for free. So other things that Sky Sports do every now and again. Yeah, but as I say, guys, you've got any questions, by all means, plump them in. As always, Gary says, going to put some games free on YouTube, but not the big ones, so we should be all right. Yeah, that's a good point, actually, mate. Yeah, because there's meant to be some games on BBC as well, for that matter, and Amazon. I say, if you've got an Amazon Prime account already, then you get Prime Video for free. It's not an issue. Sophian says, I heard Stevens got relegated to League Two, sorry. I haven't seen any of that myself, but I'll have a look into that for you and come back to you about that, mate. And they never do it for free. They want people to restart their subscriptions. Be great incentive though. Great incentive to get people back on in there. It would be nice if the BBC or ITV got some games though. Yeah, it'd be back to the old days. It'd be really, really nice. Weren't the BBC and ITVs back in the day? We already discussed that before as well as just now. Wally says, imagine League One clubs rely on gate receipts heavily, so no incentives to play behind closed doors. I'm assuming they don't get much TV money, mate. They hardly get anything. There is, I know there's like fan accounts where you can watch the games and stuff, so you pay subscription for that, but that's about as close as it is. Sofiane asks, John, your favourite Brazilian footballer of all time? I don't watch football that closely. I don't know how many times I need to tell you, mate. I've never watched football that closely. I'd have to say probably Brazilian. I mean, Pele obviously springs to mind. I did see some of his football when I was younger. And who else? Yeah, I'd say because Neymar's in there, but he's too much of a knob. So yeah. Adam Pickering, hello mate, good to see you. Do you think they'll need a pre-season before they restart? Well, no, because that's what the training's for. They're doing a pre-season training sort of thing. They're training every single day, or for the next 3 weeks? I'm guessing 3-4 weeks. Sofian says, your ideal jacket potato fillings. Tuna and sweet corn, mate. Gorgeous in that. I know loads of people will say baked beans and cheese, and baked beans and cheese for that matter, but nah, for me it's tuna and you'd have Anderson in the you'd have Anderson in the potato, would you, mate? Each to their own. Players will suffer if they don't have a pre-season for the start of next season. Yeah, that's a good point. That's Bex. That's a very, very good point on that. Yeah, I mean I'll be very surprised if we get a pre-season. The way that how long it's going to take for the league to fill in. I know, mate. I was taking the mick. Gary says, favourite seat at Upton Park, and the same for the Olympic for view. Is that a question or is that a statement? Because it sounds like a half and half by the sounds of it. Richie says, for favourite Brazilian of all time, Giordano Hugilos, the best Brazilian player. Sofiane or pizza says, sorry, burgers or pizza? Burgers all day long. But not from the cheesy place. I mean, pizzas I enjoy, and that's a fact. No, let me rephrase that. I get more pizzas than I do burgers, so yeah, I'll say pizza for that. But I do enjoy a good half pounder or quarter pounder. Pele and Moore had lots of respect and admiration towards each other. Agreed, Darren? KFC or Burger King? You know that. We were talking about that last night. I'm a Burger King man all the way, so don't. Mark says, can I fill my jacket potato with chips? You're just filling potato with potato, mate. What are you on about? So, who do you think should get a stand named after them at the Fishbowl? Noble. Simple as that. Nobody's deserved it. Especially in recent times. I mean, I think the reason why the now where are we? The West Stand was renamed as the Billy Bonds, because I think that was just to shut a lot of us up, because a lot of people were calling it for a long, long time, at least 7 or 8 years. But yeah. But honestly, I honestly do. I think Noble. I think Noble deserves it more than anybody else, because nobody's been as loyal enough or as consistent enough than he has. Our Nordic friend says, pick one: relegation for one season and gold celebrated club, or golden celebrated Brady stay and we finish 7th for the next 4 seasons. Well, we're not going to get anywhere, mate. So I'd take relegation for a season. 7th, we just screw it up like we always do, unfortunately. Someone said I said that, and some guy called me James Blunt. I don't think I should say that again. Beck says I finished 7th. I don't even have to think. If we go down, it will take a long time to get back up. Agreed, but the terms is that we only get down. We only go down for 1 season. Might be a little controversial. That yeah. Mark says if it isn't yellow, don't eat Rebecca. Oh god. Yeah, and our Nordic friend says agrees with it. So just only relegated for 1 season. Shut up, Bex. Favorite colour jeans? Actually, black. I like black jeans. I'm bored of the standard denim. I have been for donkey's years. White jeans on women, not on men. Not on men. Okay. Also talking about championship clubs, as we were a few moments ago. They've been told that some of them, not all of them, but the clubs will need to have the players self-administered tests on the morning of training twice a week. I think it's a weird one. I really do think it's a weird one. Guys, let me know your thoughts on this because it's a championship. They're sponsored by Sky Bet, a betting company that have multi-million-pound turnover every year, and they won't help to fund the money to get to all championship clubs to be tested. Yet the money's available in the Premier League. I know the TV rights are different and everything else, but it's the second biggest league it's the second biggest league in the country. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Ian asks, how do I get Spanner after my name to go with a knife for my jacket potato? Well, Ian, by asking that question, it makes you a bit of a spanner anyway, doesn't it? Wally says, last time we finished 7th, I really enjoyed it. I'll take 4 seasons of that, please. Mate, that was painful. It was. I get a dislike for telling me to shut up. All right, yeah, okay. You won't be the first, and you ain't going to be the last either, for that matter. There's at least one person out there that will go on to the accounts and not even watch the videos and click dislike. I know that for a fact. Richie says, why fonts of thongs? Don't wear either. John's going to get Shawnee worded later. Okay, so now Helen Ludlow, a very, very faithful commenter who's been following the channel for a good couple of years, asked a very, very good question, and one I can't really answer, but I want to get your opinion because I know some of you guys are follow things a lot closer than I do on certain things. She's asked, is there going to be a Hammer of the Year being awarded this season? Now, we know obviously that the Players' Awards have been cancelled and everybody's actually been given their money back, so the clubs have actually done that right. Recently, so that's good from that side of things. But guys, I mean, we all know who our Hammers of the Year are. You know, we've mentioned it many, many times. But do you think the club is still going to give us the right to choose? Because if they are going to do it, they should do it within end of June, beginning of July, if the league starts in the third or fourth week of June, as it's kind of looking at the minute. But guys, what would you? Because I know there's a few people in here that haven't mentioned it previously. Because Mark's, for example. So, guys, who is your Hammer of the Year? Let me know who your Hammer of the Year is. I mean, everybody knows that mine's been a Bonner. I've been saying it for the majority of the season. I know Bex was saying the same sort of thing a little relatively recently, but some of you guys haven't. We haven't talked about it. So, it'd be interesting to see what you guys think about. Now we're halfway through the video, so if we've had a drop off of literally half of people watching it, probably because we weren't talking about West Ham right at the start, to be honest. But if you're liking the video, then by all means, please do click the like button. If you're new around here and you want to know more and you're sticking around, then by all means, please do consider hitting the subscribe button, because we are 6 subscribers away we're 6 subscribers away from having a new song come up. So get clicking, guys. Sofian says, I haven't heard anything about Hammer of the Year award, to be honest, and the club will make us do it, but make us pay for it on the Socios app. That's the point. That's gone really quiet the last year, hasn't it? I mean, this time last year, we were all up in uproar about that, and things have gone completely silent. Sofian says, Declan Rice was his Hammer of the Year. It was or is. Ogbonna for Wally, Rice for Rick. Beck says Ogbonna. I thought you said that. Mark says Ogbonna for Hammer of the Year as well. Richie says Ogbonna. Vernon says Ogbonna. Kind of sad though, isn't it? Yeah, do agree. And yes, Rice is still Sofian's. Bex makes a good point, actually. I think if the season comes back, they'll do it. If not, they won't. But it'd be true. But I'd be a bit poor if it doesn't. I mean, I know the reason why, because it was supposed to, at the end of the season, it was supposed to be given like the old days of the award ceremony when it's done at the last last home game of the season. So yeah, it'd be a little bit sad if that doesn't happen. But we'll have to wait and see. Now, it was quite interesting reading the other day. Sofian says, Hammer of the Year awarded behind closed doors. It's quite interesting reading that apparently WHU, aka David Sullivan, because we all know that website is as reliable, as annoying and as reliable as that website is for information. We know that anything that comes out from them is most of the time, especially quotes, are normally directly from David Sullivan. And apparently they're targeting a left back and another striker this season for next season, for the transfer, whenever the transfer is going to be. Now, guys, let me know what positions you think we should be targeting. Because for me, it's a left back, agreed, 100%. Another centre back, unless you're going to bring through Cardoso. For me, we need a sort of Coate style box to box midfielder sort of thing. And yeah, second striker, definitely. I think we're right for that. But as I say, left back, centre back, maybe a right back, depending on what happens with Jeremy's contract. Box to box midfielder and a centre back. Another striker. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions maybe. Sofian says we need a left back and another centre back. Agreed. Rick says a striker and left back for me. Beck says positions to target left back and centre back. Richie says right back, as we only have Krezi. Krezi's a left back, mate. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so yeah, sorry, left back. But yeah, agreed. I think Souček is a Coate replacement, in my opinion. We'll see. Len, hello, mate. Good to see you. I think they're right on left back and striker are the most important. Yeah. John O'Connell, hello, Gazer. Hope you're all right. Darren says we should be targeting some of scouts first of all. Good point. Rorik says right back too, because Creswell needs someone to challenge him. Don't you bloody start. Here we go now. It's left back. Left back, midfield, centre back, and a striker. Sorry, left mid, I should say. Left back, left mid, centre mid, and a striker. John, context, please, mate, because you just completely contradicted yourself. So if you aren't gonna behave, you know what's gonna happen. And one final thing I want to talk about, because obviously we've gone through pretty much everything that I want to talk about. So the next 25 minutes are completely opening through the Sophie, and you know what the rules are, mate. You need to adhere to them. Gary says Moyes happy with you, cool up top. That was funny reading that, actually. That apparently he was that was funny. He said that he's really keen to bringing him back in next season. So I know Charlie's going to be very, very happy with that. Richie says, do you think we will keep Dean Garner if West Brom come up? That's a good point. That's a very, very good point. If we get a decent bid for him, no, not a chance. Not a chance. But I honestly, I hope we will. I don't think we will, but I hope we will. Max says we need Grady, and I think we will keep him even if West Brom come up. Yeah, it's a good possibility. But if they put a 25 million bid in for him, and I think I can see him going. I can really see him going. Bex says agree with me. I think we will. Yeah, that's fine. I say I can see it, but it's I say for a huge amount of money, he's off like anyone else. At the end of the day, if people think that Rice is going to go for a huge amount of money, then they're going to think the same for Grady. Dean Garner, Bowen, and Allaire over Salah, Mane, and Firmino. That's not a bad shout, mate. That's not a bad shout. I'd have to agree with you on that because I've said many times that combination would be lethal, absolutely lethal, from what we're seeing so far. Mark says if West Brom come up and we go down, we could lose him. Gary says, when are you going to do a Zoom with the other channels? No, Gonzo and Mickey. Not Mickey. Who's Mickey? Not doing much. Gonzo's doing content every single day. Yeah, I'm not sure what you've been watching. But like I said, if I'm asked, I will do it. I asked everybody to come on the channel on the 10th of May to talk about the FA Cup final and obviously the the last game of the bowling, and nobody was able to do it. Beck says, good point, actually. They aren't going to offer that money, especially at the moment. Yeah, it's a good point. Vernon says, left back, have to see if Souček and Bowen address our other problem areas. I mean, I think we're right for right wing. I think we're right for left wing. Because we could have Bowen down the right wing and Antonio down the left hand wing, or even Snodgrass down the left hand wing. We've got options, and I like that, but it's not enough yet. Sofian says left back with pace, but also a brain. I think Masuaku left his brain back wherever he came from. Mate, he said many times he's a winger. You know, he's and we should be playing him as a winger. And I want to see him being played as a winger. I wouldn't mind seeing him. Have Masuaku out on the left and Bowen out on the right. I think that could be interesting. I mean, whoever's at left back is going to have to really, really concentrate with Masuaku in front of them. But I honestly do. I think it's going to be that. Really, really think it's going to be that. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about, which is one of the funniest things I've read today, is apparently WHU is close to coming back. So this got me thinking. I'm going to do a bit more about this tomorrow. In actual fact, I might do a video about this tomorrow that I'm going to put up exclusively on on Twitter. I've really been thinking about it. Really been thinking about it. Or maybe just actually no, I might because Twitter content's restricted. I might actually put it up on Facebook, the Facebook account. But guys, I want you to tell me, I want you to tell me what your starting 11 is for the next game whenever that happens, because everybody bar Wilshere is fit. And so let me, from what I understand, so let me know what your starting 11 is for. I'm guessing it's going to be the Watford home game, if they are going to be sticking to the schedule as it previously was. Sophie says Wilshere the wheelchair at the moment. Wheelchair merchant. Yep. Was watching Hugh Gill play a few times this season and rate him higher than Allaire with what I've seen. Fair enough. It's different players and different league, mate. But yeah, I know what you mean. He's been banging them in, but it's a different step up to the Premier League. It really is a different step up, especially with what we've got to offer the support of up front. It really is. Vernon says, I think a solid number one is more urgent than we think. Fab has only got a season or two left in him, and those injuries look recurrent. Well, the reason why, to a degree, Vernon, I agree with you, because the injuries look recurrent because we rushed him back because we had an absolute chaotic goalkeeper covering that position, and which is why we brought Darren Randolph back in. Granted, he's not exactly that much younger than him either, for that matter. But we've got juniors coming through. And Bex is saying Fab's got two in him at least. I agree, keeping an eye out, but Fab is fine. By the time Fabianski's going to be moving on or possibly retiring, let's not forget, guys, that goalkeepers, I've said this many times before, and I said this a little while back when I did a video about goalkeepers as well. Goalkeepers, and even on Hammerspals, we talked about it. We all talked about it, and I talked about it as well. Fabianski, goalkeepers can play into their mid to late 30s. They don't need to be young like defenders and midfielders and strikers, because they don't move around much. They don't move around. Sofian says his starting 11 is Fabianski in goal, Ngakia, Diop, Ogbonna, Creswell, Souček, Rice, Fornals, Bowen, and Anderson and Allaire in a 4-3-3, false number 9. Well, Allaire's a striker. You can't have a striker in a false number 9 position. You can't. I know what you mean. It's a good lineup. I think to focus on goalkeeper takes our eye off where we need to buy. Agreed. Mark says Fabianski, Ngakia, Diop, Oggy, Creswell if he plays. Rice, Souček, Anderson, Fornals, Bowen, and Antonio. So that's a false number 9. Having Antonio as a false number 9. Rick likes his lineup, as does Wally, as does Darren as well, for that matter. Sofian says Nura is 34, by the way, and signed a 3-year contract but with Bayern. So you've proven my point. Buffon is still decent. I think he's over 40. Yeah, again, proving my point. Good evening, Andy. Nice of you to join us 3/4 of the way through. Hope you're all right, mate. So Len, just to be difficult, is put it the other way around. So Fabianski, Ngakia, Diop, Obama. When did we get Obama? I love it when you guys watch it on your phones, man. You do your autocorrect. It cracks me up because the amount of people that don't check it before they send things. Obama, brilliant. Creswell, Obama, Diop, and Ngakia is the back four. Rice, but Rice and Souček, Bowen, Fornals, Allaire, and Antonio again with the false number 9. I like it, mate. Obama, brilliant, brilliant. Sophie means as a false number 9 and copy of Liverpool's front three almost. Well, it's not a false number 9, mate, because the front three is a front three. You got your number 9. You'll be in the middle as the central striker. It's not a false number 9, and that's what I said. I know what you meant, but yeah, it was Sophie S. Michelle Obama at the back. Beck says would want to see Fornell start. Yeah, he's my sitting, but he's my number 10 in there. So to be fair, I heard Barack Obama is a West Ham fan. Yep, we talked about that last night. But I love that, Ian. That's made my day. That has, mate. That really has made my day. Brilliant. I love it. Obama. Richie says shame about Casillas. Would have loved to have him at West Ham even when he was in his 40s. Yeah, I know he retired recently, didn't he? I think was it this season or last season, or possibly doing it now. I can't remember. I mean the statements. I've just actually think about it. Actually, statement came out earlier today that oh god, his name's just bumped up. Giroud is staying with Chelsea next season, so that would be interesting. Um, Mark says Trump, Kennedy, Obama, Carter, Nixon, Reagan, Clinton, Bush, Senior, Lincoln, Washington. Yeah, all right. Of course, you're correct. Love it. So to be fair, Firmino does essentially play as a false number 9, despite being in the middle of a front three. Well, that's yeah. But as I say, having Allaire in the middle as a false number 9 isn't a false number 9. Firmino's attacking midfielder. That is a false number 9. But you're right, though, Charlie. It's good to see you, though, mate. It's good to see you. Sofian says Casillas had a heart attack. He is back, recovered well. That's good. Sofian says loving the link with Bush and Bush Senior. The chemistry is lively. So yeah, just gonna have a look at that Manchester United article. Yeah, it's cost them 28 million pounds so far, and it's going to cost them more by the end of the season, which is completely understandable because, from one point of view, but I think it's a slightly exaggerated figures. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what their accounts for this season when they come out next January. We'll have to see what happens with that one. Len says you can't leave Teddy Roosevelt out of the lineup. Beck says I can't do the hashtag because I'm trying to work out how to use the hash on new Mac. Okay, middle class lady. Which is problem with Kennedy's always loses. Mate, come on. So while the Apple sheep gets her instructions, is there anyone else got anything they want to talk about at this time before we wrap this up? Your laptop works the same as my Lavona. Did it? Yeah. But I hope you're proud of yourself. You can have some ice cream as a present for that, as a reward, I should say, reward for getting that right, Vex. Richie says Trump would be our Roberto. Your favourite flavoured ice creams? Fish food, mate. Ben and Jerry's fish food. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Andy says no, Rishi, not that good. The beach or the park? The beach all day long, mate, for me. Rishi's favourite ice cream is mint chocolate chip. I love that as well, but fish food, just 3 types of chocolate. It's forbidden food for me. It really is forbidden food. Beck says now ice cream. I bloody love a good vanilla. Of course you do, because it's neutral. John, have you heard Trump took the anti-malaria vaccine? Yes, he did. He took that 2 months ago. It's doing the ring. It's doing the rounds once again. Oh, good shout, Andy, mate. Good shout. Rum and raisin. Oh, that is nice. Guys, I hope you're keeping track because there's another. So it looks like the kids are starting to invade. Guys, please keep an eye on the chat. John says, I'm the least neutral person ever. Darren says, salted caramel for him. Yep. Vernon says, had tomato ice cream in Africa. Pretty good. Sofian says, his dad loves pistachio. John, can I have a flake in my ice cream? You can, of course. And Sofian says, mint choc chip over what, mate? Richie says, do you know Trob has money invested in the company that makes the drug? That's why he wants people to buy it. I haven't heard of it. Sofian says, why is it a flake 99 if it costs £1.50? Because they used to be 99p before the credit crunch of the late 80s, early 90s. That's why. Unfortunately. Charlie Walsh says, the neutral planet in Futurama is where everything is grey. And Sofian says, mint choc chip over everything. Yeah, everyone's piling on how young Sofian is at the minute, and even Vernon's saying he's younger than me. Thank you, mate. Thanks for reminding me on a regular bloody basis. Rebecca says, if we're talking ice cream though, love Screwball. That was cool, actually. Yeah, very very creamy ice cream with a bubblegum ball at the bottom. Lovely. All right, guys. Well, it looks like we're pretty much wrapping it up there. Richie, I was last one. Best song of the 80s, because this will be interesting to see what people say on this one. For me, the best song of the 80s is the only one that really comes to mind is Gold by Spandau Ballet. That's a quality track. Also possibly True by Spandau as well. Town Called Malice, that was 80. That was an 80s tune. Loads, mate, really loads. Mark English says, Without You, U2. Was that 80s? I thought it was early 90s, but it could be. Neil Ross, hello, mate. Thank you. Oh, God, hang on. Neil, thank you very much for joining the page on Facebook, mate. Much appreciated. I like the chocolate fudge brownie and mint choc chip. That's good. Brennan asks, have I ever been to Canada? No, I haven't. Charlie says, I had the 99 thing was something to do with the guy who created them as opposed to the price. Something to do with body cars. Don't really care about that, mate. I've got more important things in my life than worry about how the 99 thing happened. It possibly, but they used to be 99p. Beck says "Hue and Cry," "Labour of Love." Obviously got an American setting on the your iPad there without having the U in there. Intergalactic by the Beastie Boys. That's a tune. That is a tune. The oldest song on his playlist. Mark says 87. Fair enough. That's full. And he says too many to list, all metal though. Nothing wrong. Vernon says Under Pressure by Queen. Good shout. Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush is large. That is a good tune, mate. That is a good tune. Len says "Whole of the Moon" by the Water Boys. Ah, yes, that is a cracker. Or Mag 7 by the Clash. Yeah, but do you know what? I'd completely forgotten about that song, mate. That Water Boys classic. That is fucking brilliant. And he says Paradise City. Top tune. Babushka while we're here. Interesting mix. Cracking tune. About infidelity, but a cracking tune nonetheless. Okay. Right, but guys, as I say, thanks very much for tuning in. It's been great to speak to you all as well. So yeah, it was a bit of a shame that we haven't got enough more subscribers for a new tune to come out tonight. But yeah, not bad, nonetheless. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, guys. If you're new around here, welcome. It's great to see you. As I say, consider subscribing if you want to see more. And I will, and by all means, put your comments in the comment section below for the replay. For those who are watching the replay, and I will see you tomorrow evening, live at 6:30 again on Friday evening. Hopefully, I should be having some beers with it on the drink as it's Friday night. So, in the meantime, guys, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening. I'll see you tomorrow.